Hey everyone, and welcome to Gadget Talk. Chad, I don't know, but my 3D printer is about ready for Cache Fest to be over because it's been running nonstop constantly. I know yours has too.
Yeah, but mine's ready to print other things.
Well, yeah, true.
Mine
very
runs
true.
24 hours a day all the time.
Well, I've got some stuff that I want to print, but since I only have one printer, it's hard to kind of sacrifice everybody, all these people that are looking forward to getting these gadget caches for me to print a phone holder for somebody.
Luckily, I got a new one to print other things.
Yeah.
So that's kind of been nice.
But still, looking forward to it. I'm excited about these gadgets that we're going to be building at Cache Fest. A lot of fun. Remember, when you sign up and you pick up your package, if you've got one of those gadgets, sign up for which hour that you're going to be doing. There's going to be 3 different Gadget Academies, so you want to make sure that you pick your hour. And if you pick up your package early, you're going to get first choice. If you're picking it up on Saturday, you're going to get the leftovers. So just let you know. I mean, some people can't come in until Saturday, and I understand that, but just giving you a heads up. So, but looking at who's all here on the chat, of course, Tom Brotherman's here. Says he would like air-conditioned gadgets. That's what we need in the South. Howdy from hot Selma, Texas. Bell on the Move coming in from Glendale. Just Finding Our Way is in Arizona.
107 today.
107 today. Holy cow. Let's see it. Right now, it's 75 degrees here in Memphis. I hope we've had actually pretty cool.
It's 70. Hang on here. 72 right now. It was 74 earlier. That's the hottest it got. I'm good with that.
And Tony from Kentucky, Pizza Ninja from New York is with us. MacGyver and Flo from Santa Ynez, California. Tricaches, of course, from Gilby. 71 today in Gilby.
Wow, so we're all right in that same area.
In Australia. Well, and it's winter in Australia right now. So, Darren, what's the temperature down there? And can you please break it down into Fahrenheit, not Celsius for me, please? Thank you. And then we got GCDSK11 from Medicine Hat. Mini Mag is in here from California. Houston, Texas, Dave. Well, you know where he's from. Geocaching Ninja coming in from the Western New York. And Dave says it was 93 degrees in Houston.
So, this is making me rethink
with the cooler weather right now.
Yeah. This is making me rethink my move to Texas.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, it's hot. I mean, it is hot. So
Tennessee's looking a lot better.
Yeah. Depends on where. Well, we got mountains which you can get up into. That's going to be a little bit cooler. Right now, this is actually kind of unusual for us, and I hope it kind of stays like this cooler weather for Cache Fest. But we're about a month, 16 degrees C, which equals 60.8 Fahrenheit right now in where Darren is in Australia. Not too different from what a lot of us.
Not bad for winter.
Yeah. So, but before we get much further, Chad, we got to go ahead and take care of our sponsors. And once we get this, then we will be back and we'll get right into the show. All right, here we go.
If you have not become a patron of the Geocache Talk Network, what are you waiting for? Patron levels start as low as a Bison Tube level at $3 a month. To sign up is easy. Simply go to the Geocache Talk website and click on the Become a Patron button, or go to patreon.com/Geocache Talk. Patrons now get the famous Blackout coin, invites to special events, and other really great items throughout the year. Become a patron today.
Logwork, the creators of the fantastic logbook, made with genuine write-in-the-rain paper. The logbook's designed for the micro-containers of the present and future, geared towards the hider who'd rather go caching than doing cache maintenance. Find them at logwork.com. That's LOGWERK.com.
Have you subscribed to FTF Magazine yet? FTF Magazine is the #1 geocaching magazine available. It is a quarterly magazine that you can be part of. Submit your geocaching milestones and adventures to be published. FTF Magazine is also interactive with puzzles to solve and the hunt to find Spartacus. If you can solve the puzzle or find Spartacus, then you will be entered in to win a special pack tag. Every new subscription, you will receive a special swag pack. Subscribing is easy. Just visit FTF's website, ftfgeo.com. Don't miss out and subscribe today.
All right. So a lot of people I know kind of wonder for Chad and I, what would you get for Father's Day when We have a whole bunch of tools and different things. So Chad and I've kind of put a list together of a whole bunch of different things. Some of them are common. Some of them are just fun. And some of them are just things that will be very useful. So, and then we're going to get into some other stuff, but we want to kind of go through some different things.
But before we do that, let's do the follow-up on last week's.
Okay. Yeah. Before we do that. So sorry, that was a little tease on that. So, all right. We got Cash Queen to join us as well. So, all right. So here we go. All right. I'm pulling up the picture. Which one do you want me to show first?
Let me just go to my cam here and we'll talk about it. So talk about the one we did here. So this is what we built last week on the show.
Right.
Painted it. I did the hammered steel. Originally I did black hammered steel, but I really did not like the look of the hammered steel in black. So I redid it in the silver.
I like the silver. That looks really cool.
Yeah, I really like the silver. I thought the black would look kind of cool, but I didn't. So, and underneath the lamp skirt, I don't know if it really even matters. So anyways, this is it painted. A couple things I did do to this to change it is we glued this mechanism here onto the system. Well, I didn't like the way it was holding. It really wasn't holding that great. So I ended up tapping a couple screws in here. Okay. Some plastic screws. And holding it, and it's nice and secure now. So I really like that. And that was one thing I wanted to mention here. When I take electronics apart, so a screw for plastic has coarse threads like this. I don't know if this will show.
Yep, I can see it. Yep.
And so I always save those. So I have bins of them here that I always go through, as well as I always stock usually number 4s as well. And this happened to be a number 3. And I think I ordered the 3s by mistake. So luckily I had them. Okay. But I always had sizes in here. So one thing I wanted to mention, if you take a lot of electronics apart, it's always nice for me to save the plastic screws, because I always can reuse them. Right. One other thing is when you're using the screws, kind of into the Father's Day thing, real quick, is it's kind of hard to find your screws through here because there's so many different sizes. So you can get these little funnel trays at Harbor Freight for a couple dollars each, and you can put your screws right in here, go through them, find the sizes you need, and then you just put them right back into the container. So it's a lot nicer than picking them up any other way. So
oh yeah, most definitely. Okay, so there's another thing on my list. Is a funnel tray.
I originally bought those for Legos, and they work great for everything else. So
even better, because oh my gosh, yes, funnel trays at Harbor Freight. Because of course I coach Lego robotics, and they're always doing stuff. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. It looks like Tom says looks like a pill tray. Yep. Very similar.
Pill trays are similar. I have one of those. I have several of them. I use those a lot too.
Of course you got them.
So this is what a pill tray looks like for sorting pills. This one fell and broke. My other ones are actually, I know right where they're at. I'm using them to sort the parts of the kits. So a pill tray, because a pill bottle's round.
Right.
Let me grab one. It's not there. Oh, I don't know where it is right this second. Anyways, there's normally a plastic flap that goes over this. And sorry about that, guys. Phone.
Mini Mag, I hope you're joking. I'm sure you're being sarcastic. I've never heard of that store before. Are you talking about Harbor Freight?
Well,
well, if you're out here for Cash Fest, I'll take you to Harbor Freight. How about that?
Yeah. Okay. So I don't know where my other ones are. They're somewhere. I sort them out and stuff and put them together because I'm not done. But anyways, there's normally a cover that goes over the top of this. So you take your pills from here, you count them with
your spatula thingy.
Yeah, which I have several of them, but I think they're with my trays. Oh, they look like this. Here we go. Look like this. There's several different sizes. You count them, put them in there, you close, and then you can, once they're in here, you close it, you pour this back into your big bin of pills. And then this is closed and it's round, and you can pour that right into your pill bottle. So anyways, that's what it looks like. So one of those odd things I happen to have.
Yeah. You got a lot of odd stuff in that shop. Like you said, you're a hoarder.
Yep. So attaching this, we didn't go over attaching this. I picked two different ways. So you can use some of these big air conditioning type of
tie straps or
zip ties, whatever you want to call them. Just goes right through the back. Remember how I left that hole there?
Right.
You can go right around your pole and you can strap it in. You might, depending on how big the pole is, you might need more than one. Or you can use a big hose clamp.
Oh yeah.
And depending on what size you need, you might need a bigger one than this. So you just unscrew it all the way and it just slides. Same thing right through it here, put it around the bottom. And this is probably the way I would go. Put it around the bolts on underneath the lamp skirt, and then, or whatever you can find, tighten it up and you should be good to go. No one will walk off with it. The only thing I would probably do, so I made this fancy one without the hinge, but what I've noticed now is when I go to pull the door out on the one, I took this out and tested it, I always end up dropping the door. So I don't know if it's underneath the lamp skirt, no one can find it or see it. Maybe hinge is better. I don't know. It's up to you. I don't think it would damage it by people dropping it, but I don't think anybody's going to expect it just to come all the way out. So anyway, that's it. That's my follow-up pretty much on it. I still am tweaking a few things out on the canister or the I don't know, the cabinet, or what is it called? The cache itself, the box.
Yeah. Well, I like it. I think it turned out really well. I really do like it. And we've already talked beforehand. I know a place I can put it and use it for something. So I really like that one. And we've talked about last week as well. If you would, and I don't know if I saw in comments, but put some comments in there if you would like to see the cutouts of this cache into our store, and so that you could buy this cache and be able to assemble it yourself. So
I'm not sure what Tom's talking about. If you're going through all that trouble, you might as well glue it down as well. I'm not sure.
Gluing it to the post itself there, Tom. So just let us know. All right. So yeah, if you're going to go into do that trouble, you might as well glue it down as well. So just let us know exactly what you're meaning to that. Chad and I have been burning the candle at both ends and in the middle, so some things may not make sense to us right now. So, all right. Yeah, that's what he was saying. Yeah, so Tom was saying, to see, might as well just go ahead and glue it into the back of it, or glue it onto the post itself. But then if we had to remove it, then it's.
Yeah, I don't know if I would recommend that.
I don't know if I would do that. So.
Okay. Depends on who the landowner, what they approve, or the land manager.
Right. So, all right. So we've already gotten kind of one idea, and that was the filter tray, or not filter tray, the funnel tray. That's what it's called, funnel tray.
Yeah.
That's a great idea. I really, for Legos, for screws, just pull them out and go through all that, even nails or anything like that. That would be really, really good. That's definitely on the list, and I will try and find a link for that on Amazon as we're talking as well.
I found them right here. I can send it to you. It's
okay. Just send it to me on Facebook and I'll grab it and I'll put a link into it.
Sure.
So, but the one I wanted to talk about, and we've talked about this many times, and you'll use it on this cache as well. And I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen as well. Let's see here. Share screen. I'll share this tab. Actually, I'll just share this entire window. All right. This one. All right. And what I want to share is I've used this in so many different things, and that's this Weld-On 3 or a Weld-On 4. This, I'm telling you, and I was telling the stories last week of where I've used this product and I've saved money on other things around my house, not just fixing anything on my gadgets, but it works on PVC. It works on a whole bunch of different items in around the house. And I just dropped the link into the chat. And all the links that we're going to be posting tonight will also be in the description after the show, but you can also find them in the chat. But this weld-on, I've used this on so many different things. So for the handyman or the non-handyman that you want to fix stuff, or somebody's got a 3D printer and you want to glue some of your parts together that way, weld-on is the way to go.
Weld-on is kind of my go-to for most stuff. I like I said last week, I prefer the syringe rather than this, but
I do too.
That's just me.
That's just what comes with it, and that leads into my second one. And I'll pull that screen off real quick, and I'm going to drop the link in there, but I'll have to get it. But that's the glue application kit that we were talking about. So definitely the syringe is the way to go as well. That is, I have a set of syringes as well that I use when I'm doing these. And that's definitely the way to go on these syringes. Hold on, let me pull up and I'll show you what this application kit looks like here in just 1 second. There it is. All right, so this is the application kit. So it's got all these different items in it. So it has a whole bunch of different sizes of the syringes and has some extra ends.
Yeah, so, you can get just the one kind of syringe. The ones on the far end there that look like they are almost like a diabetic syringe, those might be a little small. I think 5 millimeter syringe is what I typically use. You're not gonna. It doesn't take that much of the weld-on to actually to glue it together. So you're not going to use a ton of weld-on.
No,
if
you're
you
not.
Also don't leave the weld-on in the syringe because the rubber will dry up. So and then it won't work anymore. So
if you're going to get the weld-on, go ahead and get the syringe as well. There's kind of the size, the gauge, and everything like that. What gauge are you usually using, Chad?
16, I think.
Okay, so the gray. Okay.
Or 20. See, so the smaller the number, the bigger the syringe, the bigger the number, the smaller the syringe is.
Right. And that's the same with wire as well. So it's the gauge.
Yeah. Yes. I think I use 16 on here. It's orange.
Yeah, I think that's what it is.
So it's fairly good size. It just depends on what I'm putting together.
Okay, yeah, 16. Yours is orange, amber is 15, 16. So somewhere right around there.
Yeah, something like that.
So weld-on, good for attracting magnets? No, not really. No. So Cash Queen was asking, weld-on, good for attaching magnets? No, that one's not. It's more for plastics.
I would do unless your magnet has a plastic coating around. If it's inside some piece of plastic like this, right?
Right.
Then maybe
you could use it.
But I would use more of an epoxy or like a JB Weld,
right?
For the magnets. Yeah,
because in fact, weld-on will actually, you can touch it with your hand. It's not going to glue your fingers together or anything like that. It's almost like tell you the truth, it's almost pure fingernail polish is really, really what it is. It's an acetone. And that's what causes the plastic to melt. And you have just about a minute working time with it, and then it's going to set. So it's really
depending on what type you get. So you can get so the weld-ons have a number on them. And I think a 6 actually is more of a gel. So if you're trying to make something waterproof, the gel is better, but it takes a lot longer to actually set up. I think it takes 5 to 10 minutes to set. I could probably grab it here and look at it, but it takes longer. So depending on what you're trying to do, but if you're trying to waterproof it, the gel is better than the liquid or the high strength or dry stuff. Whatever was it, weld-on 4, 3?
Yeah, I think so. I use weld-on 4. I have a lot of weld-on 4, and it's still a liquid. So, and 3, of course, is the other one that I've used. All right. So we've got the link now for the.
So those trays also come with holes in them. So if you're doing Legos, you can do different size Legos or different size parts. So if you need different size screws, you can actually get them with holes in them in a pack. It's actually different size. So the smaller stuff keeps falling through. But I threw those to you too as well, just in case someone was interested. I have some of those as well, but I never use them. I mean, those are strictly for Legos. So yeah, I don't put that much stuff in these to actually need to sort them that much. Okay. Do you have another one? You want me to hit one real quick? So I don't know if we lost Derek, so I will move on, or maybe Derek lost me. So next I'm going to go to the 1, 2, 3 blocks. So I showed these last week while I was building the cache, and I like these. So you have them in a solid, and you have them in the hole ones. Now, some of these holes are threaded, so you can actually put bolts in them and everything. I like these. I prefer the solid ones over the threaded just because of the weight. I don't plan on using the threads for anything. So these will be on the list too. They will be in the link to the description. They do come in different sizes, but 1, 2, 3 block is what they are called when you're looking them up online. Now, what I really wanted to cover was painting. So I do a lot of stuff in painting. And so I really wanted to cover painting because, a lot of people, you obviously paint your geocaches or at least a container. So I'm going to go over a few things in painting. The number one thing, or the first thing that I'm going to go over is the tray, the paint tray here, the turntable. This is for cake decorating, anything like that. I love these. So you can sit here and turn the table as you're painting. You don't have to pick up the cache or whatever you're painting. For some reason, there's no comments. So I'm thinking I went out. Maybe not.
All right. My computer all of a sudden decided just to shut down on me. That was heard a and it was gone.
Okay.
Sorry about that.
I thought maybe it was me, but I kept talking because I wasn't sure.
No, I sent you a message from the phone. It's like, I just shut down.
I put my phone on silent. Sorry.
Okay, no worries.
So I just went over the cake decorating turntable.
Okay. So you just went over that one. That's the
Yep.
Okay.
I went over 1, 2, 3 blocks. Thanks, Tom. I wasn't sure. No one was commenting. I was talking, so I was like, I wonder if it was me.
Okay, so there's I'm dropping that link in there right now. That's the link for the cake.
The turntable, yes. Lazy Susan, you can call it whatever you want. I buy they're a cheap cake decorating turntable. You can get them in stainless steel or whatever. I buy the cheap plastic. I've had this for years. But if I ever want to throw it away, the thing is, I think I bought it for like $12.
Yeah, they're not that expensive.
So bad, I'll just get rid of it. I don't want an expensive stainless steel one. Okay, so the next thing I do, because I actually don't do a ton of painting on this itself, usually, as you can see, I do once in a while when I get lazy. But the cake, the 12-inch cake,
cardboard cake boards.
Yeah, I use these all the time on top of the turntable, so I can turn it, as well as after I'm done painting it. If I have another thing to paint, I can pull this off without having to touch. Where are we at here? Pull this off without having to touch the geocache, or the part, and then I can throw a new one on with the part. And so in my paint booth, I actually have racks on the side, so these will fit in the racks as well. Great. So then they stay in the paint booth, so they still have the fan sucking all the fumes out of it. So anyways, they sit in there. And then the next thing I recommend for painting, because I'm covering painting stuff, is liquid latex or liquid mask. Yeah. I use this, as we've seen in the shows, this all the time for weathering. I prefer the liquid latex over the liquid mask. I used this on the Star Wars cache, and it did not want to come off as easy. So I would recommend the liquid latex we shared before.
Right, and that's in like the blue. I'm looking for it now.
Yeah, it was like a Smurf blue color.
Yeah, I'm looking for it. I have some here. Well, somewhere. Thought it was on my counter, but yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm trying to look for it too. Whoop. So you're showing the turntable?
Well, actually, I don't need to show it on the turntable. The next thing is these standoffs. I use these all the time. I love these standoffs. I tried to find the link for these ones. I've had these for years. I don't know where I bought them. It might have been a Home Depot type of thing. The difference between this, I shared some with Derek that we'll put in the show notes. But if you just look at painting standoffs, there'll be a lot of things that come up. But these I like to use. So if you're painting something flat and it's sitting on the cardboard, you don't paint it to the cardboard. You don't have that uneven corner on there. And so I like to use these. The thing I like about these ones is they interlock. So they don't turn apart. So if you have something round you wanted to stick in here, you can. It doesn't push apart. So that's what I really like about these ones. But they're really nice. I use these to paint the little box here. If you just put them together and then put that on top, I know you guys probably can't see, but yeah, I mean, it just looks like this. And so you don't get any kind of, it doesn't paint any cardboard. You don't get any kind of weird edge where you painted it too much or anything like that. So I recommend these as well.
Right. And I know those that saw my channel last week saw the big ones that I had going on. Those are great for really big projects. I used it on the birdhouse, and I'd like to see it in a smaller to be able to do it. There's a way, or if I just went ahead and did 4 all in one, but it almost is like an overkill. But I really did like those, and I got to redo my doors this summer after Cache Fest, and those things are going to get used a lot at that point. So
yeah. Also, those pyramids, those standoffs. If you have a 3D printer, there's a ton of files on all kinds of different free sites that you can just print your own for pennies. So I would recommend that if you can. These were purchased before I had 3D printing. So
yeah.
But
all right.
So one last thing here for painting real quick.
Okay, go for it.
Because of vapors, how bad that is for you, I always wear and recommend a mask whenever you're painting. So, and obviously if you're painting inside, you need to have some kind of paint booth or fan, but make sure it can, so your mask comes I think when I sent you can get it with or without. When you're buying it, check to see if it has the filters. If you get it without the filters, or if you do get it with, make sure it is good for vapors. And it will actually say on the side here, I don't know if it's going to focus, but it'll say if it's good for vapors or not. So you want to make sure it has that. You don't want to get the round ones that aren't good for vapors. It's mainly good for dust and other things. So highly recommend this. For years, I'd never used a mask, and I wish I would have after reading how bad it is for you to breathe in those fumes.
Yeah. And as Thomas saying, vapors, volatile organic compounds equals kill brain cells.
Yeah, I think that's what happened to mine.
Mine too.
Can't remember anything anymore.
And I've got one as well. Of course, when I'm cutting PVC now, I'm wearing the mask because, I mean, even when you're cutting wood and you got that sawdust, it's good to have a mask on anyways, because that stuff gets into your nose and everywhere, and it's just really good.
And they recommend it with MDF because it has arsenic and other things in MDF. That's not good for you. So
arsenic's not good for you at all. I mean, people die from that stuff.
Yeah, when we grew up, those toys we played on all had arsenic treatment on them.
I know. All right. So one of the things, and we've kind of talked about this before, and I have mine right here, and it's actually, I keep it underneath my my workbench now, but it is a variable Dremel, variable speed Dremel. I have a pedal for this, and I can change out the bits pretty quick and using this. And this is such a great one that I like. And mine didn't break the bank. A lot of times you can spend $200, $300 on these. This one's actually under under $100, about $75 US. So this is I've enjoyed it. It works really great. And I have not had any problems with this one at all. Doing some different types of grinding and fixing some different stuff up. And I now have to find where I put it back underneath my desk, because I keep it underneath I have a hook underneath my workbench that it just hangs on now. So it just stays down there as I'm working. And then when I need it, I pull it out and I plug it in and have my foot pedal as I'm working on it. So that one, and I've dropped the link in there as well. That's in there.
So that thing is amazing. I have mine right here. It is always, it's around my monitor. But I have it mounts right here. I always have it sitting here, and I pull it out all the time to use it for little things here and there. I try and file something to get it smooth, but if that doesn't work, I go to the Dremel, but I use it for all kinds of things. Right.
And it's a great little tool to be able to use. And so that's another great gift for Father's Day. Let's see here. I'm looking, probably soldering iron. The soldering iron is another big one. I'm not going to show a picture. I mean, I have mine. We all know what a soldering iron, and I'm going to drop a link in here as well. And this is just another soldering iron. This is the soldering iron that I have. It's like $45. It heats up really fast. It works really well. And I really like the soldering iron.
Yeah, soldering iron. I mean, if you're into trying to get into smart caster or even doing LEDs, it's the way to go. Unless you use probably what you're going to bring up the heat fittings.
Right. I'll use the solder sleeves. Now, solder sleeves, if I'm just doing oops, I just accidentally deleted my link. There it is. If I'm doing solder sleeves, okay, yeah. So with the kit, I think the kit that I have there, that's actually has the solder sucker or desoldering iron, Engineer 42. So I think.
So
let me see if I can
the solder sleeves. I have all that stuff.
Yeah, so the solder sleeves are really great. I love that. And if you're using the solder sleeves, for instance, what I use the solder sleeves for, my wife we have one, we call it an electric chair. It's not an electric chair. It's a electric recliner. It was actually my grandmother's, and the power cord got crushed inside of it, and so it shorted it out. Well, I cut the cables and put them together with the solder sleeves, and then I ran a bigger sleeve over top of it to put it all back together. But the solder sleeves are really great. You put your wires in there, you use a heat gun, heat it up, melts the solder, and it also does not shrink wrap. It's not what it's the shrink film on there as well, and it all puts it all together, and it works really great. So if you're just doing wires or doing that aspect of it, solder sleeves, and you don't want to do any really soldering, solder sleeves is the way to go.
So the desoldering iron, the Engineer 42 talked to, you have a basic one like this that sucks it up. So you heat it up with your soldering gun, and you just push it on the button here, or push in on it, and then the button, if you let go of it, it will suck up the solder.
Yep.
Or you can go with one here that plugs in, and so this actually will melt the solder and suck up at the same time.
Oh wow!
So it's just depends on what you want to do. So anyway, there's a couple different options.
Yeah, and the link that I just dropped in there is the heat gun. So if you are using the solder sleeves, a good heat gun is the way to go. It also works. Hey, you need to take out your grout, or redo your shower and heat the silicone up, and you can slip it out with that. There you go. You got a heat gun, and to be able to do that instead of sitting there with a hair dryer that's going to take you forever. Just be careful, because those heat guns do get hot and you might melt your shower. So let's see here. All right. So doing PVC and everything, one of the things if you're putting holes in different caches, like a birdhouse, guess what you're going to need? It's going to be really easy. You're going to need some hole saws. A really great item. And I found this one, and I actually need to upgrade some of my hole saws. These are actually a lot deeper. Let's see if I'll pull them up for you. And these hole saws work really great on doing a lot of different aspects. Even if you're setting a barrel lock, this is a really great way of setting you can drill your hole in it real easily and do it without having to use a drill bit as well. So let me see if I can pull.
Now, one thing I prefer over the hole saw, depending on what size you're doing, is a Forstner bit.
Yeah, those are good too. I like those too.
Those I like better just because you don't have to. It'll go down to the depth you want, and if you don't want to go all the way through, like with a hole saw, you gotta then chisel out the piece.
Yeah, very true.
Forstner bit you don't have to do that with, so
very true.
I like that. Just depending on what size you need to do.
Exactly, but if you're wanting to go all the way through, you can do a hole saw as well. So let me share this one. So this one is the one I was looking at today. So it's a lot deep. These are a lot deeper, and you can use this on metal, wood, plastic, PVC, all the different items there. And it has various sizes, so 2.5 all the way down to 3/4. So this is nice little kit with all of them.
Always nice to have a set of hole saws.
Yeah. So, but all right. Oh, let's get to the right mouse over to the right place. All right, Chad. Now, we've been given a lot of different ideas on here, and I want to know from our chat room, what is some other ideas, gadgets that you think for Father's Day would be really great to be able to get? Maybe it's something on your list, or maybe something that you got one year. We'd like to know what you've gotten and what you think would be really great, and we'll see if we can find some links. Now, Chad and I have a whole more of a list as well, and those will be all in the description at the end of the show. So in case we didn't mention anything, there's going to be links and everything down in the description here in a little bit. But I would really like to know what other items. Oh,
So I was going to bring that up when you were talking about the drill bit. I use these all the time. My number one go-to for drill bits, especially if you're going into metal boxes or plastic boxes, is these here. Now they come in different sizes. I tape them up to know what size I need all the time. But I think my bigger one is in my work vehicle. But these stepper bits are amazing. If you're going into metal or plastic and you're going in with conduit, the other one I recommend are these ones here. Now, these are made to go into conduit or metal, and they're also spring loaded. So whatever piece you're going through, it will pop it out. You don't have to sit there and try and dig it out.
That's nice.
So these actually are amazing. I use these all the time. But the stepper bit, that's great. And I don't think they're very expensive if you go to Amazon.
No, you can go to Amazon, and they're not that expensive. I mean, I'm looking at some here that I'm doing. I'm just going to add it to the stream real quick. So I'm not going to even drop this as a link because you can just go to Amazon and look at these. $22 for a kit, $26. I mean, this one's $49 for this one right here. So, I mean, they do range in different prices. I know I've gotten some at Harbor Freight and they work great as well. So
I think it really depends on how often. If you're going to use it every day as a work thing, I'm not sure how the cheaper ones would work out. The ones that I buy are more in the $50 range. But I've had these for years and I don't have any issues with them. Not saying that those ones wouldn't. I've just never tried it. There's usually a reason why they're cheaper.
Right. So Engineer 42 says Arduino Nanos in bulk packs. Yes, if you're doing lots of smart caches, I think I've usually seen those in like 4 packs, maybe 5.
You can get them in almost actually any size pack, up to 10s more. I usually buy them in packs of 10s just because it's cheaper and I know I'll use them. Just make sure when you're reading it that they actually have, you don't have to do any programming to it or any downloading. I bought a 10-pack of a certain brand that I've not been able to use. And of course I bought them knowing that I would need them. Here's 2 5-packs of them that I've not even, I opened a couple. But it was like 6 months after I ordered them, I decided to try and use one. And you have to go to some website and download something. And I tried it and it's just a pain, and then it wants to access your computer and stuff. And I don't know. That's okay. I'll just I'll buy a different pack. So I learned a lesson from that there. I would just make sure you read it and make sure it's ready to go on there. So yeah.
So Bill on the Move also says long clamps to hold birdhouses together. Let me tell you, you can never have too many clamps. I have a whole thing of clamps on the edge of my workbench, but then I also have, as I'm pulling stuff from underneath my workbench because my feet were resting. But back here in the back, I have some really long ones, as you can see here, that I've picked these up at Harbor Freight. For doing birdhouses, these are great. And these are really great clamps anyways. Let me see if I can get this to focus. I'm sorry. Let me turn it off. There we go. Nope. I was in focus and that went out. Okay. Let's see here.
They're probably pretty close if you hold it up.
Yeah. Well, I'm trying to be able to see a lot of it. So, but so yeah, this is a pretty long one. This is, let's see here. See how 36 inches. So 36 inches. And I think I only paid like $8 for it at Harbor Freight. So this is a really great, and I've used this on several different caches, as big caches. So these don't fit on the edge of my workbench because my workbench is 33 inches high. So I have to hang them up back there. As you can see, there's another one back here hanging up behind my head back here. So really great clamps. Like I said, you can never have too many clamps. Can't have enough bench space. Let's see here. I'm looking at some GC DSK11 says stepper bits, best things ever. Tony says cable railing kits include 1/16 inch by 33 feet, 304 stainless steel wire rope cable, 50 pieces aluminum crimping sleeves, and 12 pieces. So
yeah. So I actually have that, but I think it's 50 feet.
Okay.
Or 500 feet. It's a giant roll of stainless steel wire. I use all the time with the crimper and the ferrules. So what he's talking about on the ferrules is these are them here that you crimp onto your wire, which we've done on the show before, I think.
Yeah, we have.
So you have the different ones. But anyway, that's what he's talking about. I have the crimper. It's out in my work vehicle. We could go over that sometime if we want on a show, but again, really useful. Same with cable if you're trying to have something attached.
Right, and he used those to secure caches, and I've used those to do some different things on mine too.
So I actually considered to do that with this cache,
right?
To use some cable and a crimper, so someone can't just cut the tie, the zip tie, or unscrew the pipe clamp. But I thought, well, if you want to do that and you have the tools to do that, you can do it on your own. But I mean, that is an option for this as well. Right.
So Engineering 42 also says tiger tail beading wire for attaching small containers, suspending things in storm drains, etc.
I'm gonna have to look that up. I don't know if I've heard of the.
Yeah, I don't know if I have either. So we'll have to look up that one. Quincy Cryptid says pop rivet gun and rivets, because we've shown those on the show before and use those. And that, because when we're doing the 10 cache, the sign cache that we made, you use the pop rivets on that one.
Yes, I use rivets on quite a few of them where I use the sheet metal or the tin. Or signs.
Engineer 3042 also says threaded insert tool and inserts.
I have that. It's right over here.
Yeah. We're using, in fact, those are going in on the.
Well, that's a different one.
Well, it's similar.
You have a rivet, and then you have the one that you set in with plastic. You melt it in place. So let me see here. I rarely ever use this one, but let me grab it. Yeah. Sorry, it's in my other room here. All right.
And yeah, Chad, hey Chad, your mic sounded great as you walked across. I mean, it just, as we got them attached to our face, it sounded great as you're going over to the other room, by the way. You never could tell that you're away from your camera. So for all our radio listeners, audio listeners,
Oh,
Chad was walking
yeah, I
into
would forget
another
about
room,
audio.
and for us, it's completely. But all right, you got them.
So go on to the next one. I'll get this ready, and we'll show this in a minute here.
Let's see here. Rumbacat says Riv Nuts. Tiger tail. Size of fishing line, but is plastic coated stainless stranded wire. Okay.
I saw it. I looked up on Amazon, so that's pretty cool. I don't have that, so I need something for my shop.
Wow.
I don't know if I'd ever use it though. No, I don't have. I've never even heard of it.
Okay, so I guess we're ready to go ahead and bring in. Are you ready?
Yes. Yep. Yeah. Go ahead. So, what he's talking about on the rivet, the threaded rivet, we've done this on the show. I don't remember what show it was. So you get these rivets here, and this is a rivet. You're putting in a threaded rivet on here, so you can actually screw into something that's threaded in metal. So, I use this on again metal. Like HVAC systems, anything like that I want to put a thread in. This one's not open. I don't want to open it. Most of them are open.
Engineer 42 is like, what? We found something you don't have?
Yeah.
That will be resolved by tomorrow.
I don't know about that. I don't know if I don't know what I'd use it for.
Well, maybe that's the challenge.
Yeah. Okay, here we go. This one's open. Come on. You think it was open? There we go. So this is what they look like. There's a thread on one side. It's a rivet. You put it into you thread it onto here. This is the wrong size. So it comes with different tips. So if you look over here on this side, you can see these are the metric tips. And then here's your standard, the SAE tips. And so you thread it on here, and then you'll open it up, thread it on, and then when you close it, it actually creates a crimp into a rivet, and then whatever you put it in, you'll be able to thread right into it with a screw or a bolt, and it'll be permanent. Hopefully. All right. So versus the other one that Derek was talking about is these ones here are threaded as well. I don't know if we can see that. Might be too close. So these are threaded, but these melt in. So on our 3D prints, these are working great. You have to get a different tip. Well, I guess you don't have to. So there's these different tips for these by size, and you can tell which one I use a lot because it's different colored. You just stick this in here, and then it'll heat up to, I think about 400 is where you want it. And then you'll just push it right into your plastic. And then it'll give you a nice, and then once it dries, it's in there solid. So it'll give you a nice thread into plastic.
Right. And if you don't have one of those tips, you can also use just a soldering iron.
You can use a regular soldering tip.
You can use regular tip soldering iron and put it in there. The only thing with the soldering iron, because they'll have that pointy tip, it can go all the way through if you don't want to go all the way deep. So that's the downside of using the actual soldering iron versus that. In fact, I used my soldering iron. You can't really see it, and I don't know if I lift this up, if it would fall apart on me. But this is my little switcher that I have here. And I use those those things in here as well when I put it in here to be able to screw this into together. So that's what I use those for as well. So non-geocache related switcher video equipment stuff that I've built. So yeah, GC SK11 says those are tiny riv nuts. I use a 1/2 inch at work.
Yeah, I think 3/8 is my largest in there. I don't know. I don't use very big. Usually I use a number 10, a 1024, I think is what it is.
Okay.
Is my typical thing, or 1/4 20 is I think what I normally use.
Okay. So as we wrap up here tonight, let us know what do you think. What are some of the other items that you think we have? A lot of great in here. Tom says he swears by his 100% cotton, so safe around his pants. Or I swear by these pants, 100% cotton, so safe around, all electrical. So we just need to get Tom some more pants. So we got a lot of different items on here. Chad evidently needs to go get a tiger tail beading wire. Because he does not have it in the shop. I think that is like, Chad, I really do think that's like the first time we've said something that you actually didn't have in your shop.
So I don't have that much stuff.
But usually you like, hold on, I got that right here.
It's either here or in my work vehicle. So it's in one of those spots.
Very rare.
Yes.
Very rare do you not have it in there. There were some other items that we had on our list, and I'll just kind of name off those really quick. So I like solid core wire when I'm doing a lot of my stuff with Arduino, because I don't like having the fray when you actually tighten down the nut, twist it. I like that. It seems to work better.
The difference between solid core and stranded is if you're trying to shove a bunch of stuff in one little space, the stranded will flex, will move. Versus the solid core will, well, you're using such small pieces, it probably won't matter. But
yeah,
when we're running electrical and buildings and stuff, if you want to, I prefer solid into boxes and then stranded. But anyways, that's the difference. So it just depends on how much wire you're running.
Right. Of course, security screws, we swear by them on that. And then of course that goes with this. That would be the security screw bits that you need on there as well. Countersink drill bits is another one that I put on there on my list. A speed square. I always grab my speed square. In fact, it's back here over here because I was using it for some stuff earlier today. And then
I never even thought about that. It's been a long time since I've used one, but it 100% makes sense. Yeah,
because I'm using the chop saw. When I'm measuring things out, I'll use my speed square, zip it on it real quick, and then slide over and just cut the line, or cut right before the line, or whatever, however I need to cut it. And then, of course, cleaning up the shop, a good shop vac. I just had to pick up another one because my shop vac, I was telling Chad earlier, I think I paid $20 for it about 7 years ago. And it started transplanting what I was sucking up and putting it all over the rest of the shop in a fine mist. So it was time to get a new one. So I got I went from like a 3-gallon up to a 12-gallon one. And this one has a really good suction power. So
that's good. Good shop vac. I have 3 of them here in my shop, and you can't beat them.
No. Bell on the Move says, what I really need for Father's Day is a guilt-free build time in my garage.
I get as much build time as well. My wife's like, don't you have something to go build? Tricassius there mentioned the silicone stranded wire. Right. So this is the silicone standard wire, very flexible, as you can see. I use a lot of this. Versus this is stranded as well, but it's a little bit stiffer. It's not silicone. Yeah, it's just it's a little bit stiffer, but still very flexible. And then you have your solid, which actually I think I was wrong there. This is the solid. I put that one in the wrong container. I have drawers over here full with different slots. And then this is the stranded that's not as flexible, but it's stranded as well. So anyways, the silicone is very soft and very, very flexible. I use that a lot. You can buy them in kits, sets, I think 6 or 7 colors or whatever. I would always buy, though, more, well, depending on how you wire. I go through black and red more than anything.
Yeah, very true.
So I always buy bigger cases or bigger packs of that color.
Right. So, well, everybody, thanks for your comments in there in the chat. And like I said, all the other links that we have will be in the description down below. So you want to check those out. I want to thank everybody for your comments on some items that you guys would be great for that.
Mini fridge.
Bill says, ooh, mini fridge for the shop. Now, if for those of you that are working out in your garage, like I am, I recommend an air conditioner in here. especially it's going to get cold, hot, and and if you're working with wood, keeping that temperature in here in your shop is actually going to be better for your wood anyways. So if you can get a portable air conditioner, that would be great. I have a portable one over here, and the previous owner had a doggy door, so I modified the doggy door to run the vent outside the door. So I did that a couple weeks ago when I was getting ready for summer in here. So that's that, and that just about pretty much runs all the time. Which actually, I'm waiting to see what my electric bill is, just because this kids' schoolroom is right above me here, and in the summer that room is so hot because of the heat from down here rising up at the same time. So I'm wondering if I keep it cooler in the shop, and my shop's insulated anyways. If I'm keeping it cooler here in the shop, if it's going to keep that room up there cooler as well. So I'm really curious about that.
It should, in theory, since heat rises.
It should, you think, because there's not as much heat rising, heating up the floor. So, but I want to thank everybody. Now, remember, if you're coming to Cache Fest and you've got a gadget and you got one of the packages that has a gadget for us to build, or not for us, for you to build with us, be sure to sign up for your, when you pick up your package, sign up for which hour you are wanting to be on with and during Gadget Academy, because we have 3 different ones. Pizza Ninja says, thanks for the good show and happy Father's Day. And it's Father's Day is a couple weeks away. So, hey, have your wives, have your kids, send them to the list and say, hey, this is what I want for Father's Day. Make it easy for them. I know I will be sending my wife and my kids to this list just in case. Probably more to Chad's list than my list, but we'll see.
Well, your list is probably things you have, right? So
most of it is, yes.
Yeah.
Let me see here.
So Hugh also says, great show, guys. When is part 2? Just kidding. Enjoyed the show. Great ideas on tools. And then hit the like button, which we appreciate if you do.
Yep, thank you.
I do have a question, though, for Hugh. Is your wife listening? Did you turn your radio up loud enough for your wife to hear? So he mentioned that earlier that he was going to do that on Instagram. So I just want to make sure he did turn it up.
All right. Yep.
One other thing is, don't forget the kits. So the kits that we build, the magic blocks, the chase game, the scales game, and the not Simon Says, but we renamed it something else. But anyways, Simon Says kit. Don't forget about those. There's also, I have one sitting here that's a new kit going to be coming out. Actually, we have 2 new ones. One will be from Cache Fest, but it's going to go there first. And then the other one is completely new that is sitting behind me that we might have to show a spoiler here sometime coming up here, maybe after Cache Fest. We'll see how much time we have. Yeah,
that sounds great. So, but I want to thank everybody for joining us tonight, and we will catch you next week. What's your plan for next week? We haven't even really discussed next week's yet, Chad.
I think what we need to do is just kind of get a build idea. I have some ideas, but I kind of want to throw an idea out there and come up with some build stuff from the audience and from the listeners on what to build. I would like to take it that way rather than sit here and pre-build something. I'd like to get kind of like what we did with the Scream container or whatever. It kind of just
a brainstorm session.
Yeah, brainstorm session and move on, start building stuff. So
all right. So for you as the audience, start thinking of what you'd like to see us build. And I don't know, who knows? Maybe you'll build it. Maybe I'll build it. We'll see who builds it. Maybe we both build it. I don't know. So just
you can build it. That'd be great.
Depends on what it is. Yeah. And it depends on what it involves.
Something involving pulleys. Oh man, I have only one cache with pulleys, and I don't know if I want to do it again.
All right. So be thinking about it. And next week we'll be getting into a brainstorm session, and we'll kind of come up with an idea of what we're going to be building. I actually love those because I love hearing feedback and we start collaborating and start coming up with something. Kitchen drawer slides is what Hugh was saying. Okay. All right. My brain's already starting to go, and I got to go to sleep soon. And I know Chad does too. So we will continue this discussion next week because we could go for a whole nother hour just in brainstorming, and we all need to get some sleep. So
we could do part 2 right now.
Part 2. Yeah. We'll do that next week. So, All right, everybody. Anything else, Chad, before we jump off?
Nope. That's it. Everybody hit the like button. Thanks for joining us. And if you're listening to it, go back and watch it because it's a lot better.
Yeah. And remember, all the links will be in the description on YouTube, and some of them are already in the chat. So thanks for joining us, and we will see you next week.